The one thing that they learned and the young people need to learn in this business is ring psychology.
Yes.
They read their crowd and they performed to what the crowd wanted. You notice they didn't stop, they listened. And when they did, they just went bang, bang, bang. They worked so well together.
Exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Chris Featherstone. I'm here with my friend, and I'm really excited to talk about all things John Cena with the resident check-in guy with me now when it comes to interviews. And I'll just, one thing I like about John Cena Sr., man, I've been doing this for almost 16 years now when it comes to journalism, and there's certain situations and there's certain hot tag situations and I just text and the person's just there. And I've built relationships with people that happens, but sometimes it's more than that, and a lot and few times it's really more than that. And this guy right here makes the really more than that tier, and I'm always thankful and grateful that he's always just a text away. Regardless, man, he's just a phenomenal guy, and the apple doesn't fall far from the tree when it comes to just really stand-up guys. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my friend John Cena Sr.
Well, thank you, Chris. It's an honor and a privilege, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, my friend.
I appreciate that, man. Very much so. All right, let's dig in, man. I've been interviewing for a long time. I've interviewed over, I think upwards of 500 people now, 500 interviews. And so I like to just talk because I'm a conversational guy. I'm a therapist, and I've interviewed you multiple times now, and you're very aware of my interview style, and we have really good conversations. And so we'll just see where it goes. But I have thought about something just right now as far as to prompt our organic conversation, and that is the match that John Cena had against AJ Styles at Wrestle. It was at Clash in Perth. It was in Perth.
Perth, correct.
It was in Perth.
Correct. Yeah.
And so,
wasn't it? It was
Crown Jewel. Yep. Yeah, Crown Jewel in Perth. Yep. So the match was very highly acclaimed. It occurred via a Twitter post that caught wind. And so understanding the old school way of booking matches, what's your thoughts on just how the match was booked? I'm sure that you have very positive things, just like everybody else, to say about the match itself. What do you think about the buildup of the match?
There wasn't much. It was a poor buildup. It was a very poor buildup to what I consider to be a phenomenal match. Yep. Forget about John Cena Jr. That was an outstanding match, and any of the young people coming up ought to take a good look at that match, because that's the way it ought to be in pro wrestling. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good point as far as there's certain matches that you want to review as far as tape is concerned when it comes to training, and just the feel that comes with the match, just the organic type of nature that comes with the match that the fans are really feeling. Now, yes, nowadays it's easy for fans to get aroused by matches, and so it seems like, and I want your thoughts on this too, it seems like it has to be an even higher level of feeling and emotion when it comes to these matches, because it's so easy for people to be aroused. And so you want to go to the next level, saying, okay, well, we know that we're going to get a "this is awesome" chant or something like that, but okay, screw that. We want to move it to the next level to pull on the emotion. What are your thoughts on that?
They did it. The one thing that they learned, and the young people need to learn in this business, is ring psychology.
Yes.
They read their crowd and they performed to what the crowd wanted. You notice they didn't stop, they listened. And when they did, They just went bang, bang, bang. They worked so well together, so well together. And I think that's so important in this business.
From your father to son conversations post match, how did John feel about that match overall?
I texted him right away. You know, I said, "Kid, you still got it." And he texted me back and he said, I said, "Okay, yep." He thought that I said, "John, it was phenomenal." He said, "I'm glad you enjoyed it, Dad. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun."
Wonderful.
Two great men. Styles is all done next year. That's going to be another sad day in wrestling because we're losing another great performer, somebody who understands the business. You can see the way they both performed. I mean, I just sat back and I said, I couldn't believe truly they went 28 minutes.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of moves in there. A lot of moves for both guys.
Yeah. To your point of the breathing hard from John Cena, almost pulling a half-hour match there at almost 50 years old. When did you notice from John's movement to Hollywood, transition to Hollywood, spending less time being an active member? When did you notice, and with your conversation with him too, and from your observation, when did John Cena start to make that decision of, okay, yeah, my body's starting to talk for me, and I think it's time to move away and transition out of full-time competition in the ring?
We talked about that off and on. Off and on, that was a point of conversation because you got to remember, John was always up front with the fans. And the one thing I can always hear him say, he said it to me, he said it to the fans 1,000 times. When I can't go the way I used to and give you what I used to, then it's time for me to think about retiring. And regardless of the fact that his body is now saying, whoa, stop. AJ Styles made it very clear when he said, I'm retiring because I want to be able to walk away from this business. And so John always gave, like Styles and the rest of those people in this business, I can't praise them enough, 250%. And it's a point now where you can't go 250. You might go 175. And I think that both of them realize that it's time now. And he would say this, you know, Dad, it's time for other people to take the spotlight. And I think it's a good move on both people's parts. But John and I used to talk about that. And I used to say, you know, there's life after wrestling. And he'd say, there is.
Yes, there's definitely life after wrestling. And as we see, John Cena has been a part of a lot of movies produced it's been a while now. He started to go like full on Hollywood. It's been around 10 years now, having it close to it.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's been a while now.
That he never forgot the WWE, ever.
Yeah, that's true. And I remember him coming back for a few popular moments. Well, there's a couple that come into my mind. One of them is just he had a few week run of trying to get a spot at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. And all of a sudden, The Undertaker comes out and squashes him. He tried his best to get a spot for The Undertaker after clawing and scratching, not working out to his preference. What's your overall thoughts on after all of the talk for so long, when he started to become the Doctor of Thugonomics? One of his early feuds as a heel was The Undertaker on SmackDown. But The Undertaker and John Cena, as much as they have storied careers, it was more in a parallel perspective when both of them were in the WWE. They really didn't cross paths, minus the beginning of John Cena's growth and blossoming in the WWE. We finally get it at a WrestleMania, and it was just a simple squash match. That, yeah.
Right out of the crowd, he came to fight The Undertaker, got in the ring. I'm in here with The Undertaker, and it was over. And I think it was a good storytelling. It was good because you had the loudmouth on one end, and I can always remember The Undertaker when John first started, when he confronted him once. Remember what the Taker said to him? He said, "Kid, You're writing checks your ass can't cash.
Mhm.
And so be very careful. And it was the same type of thing. I remember I went back and I looked back and forth and I say, this is how it all started. He was blabbing. Well, you're writing those checks, buddy. I don't think you're going to be able to cash them.
Yeah.
And when he finally got in the ring, bingo, you see what happened. Cena was squashed.
Yeah. So it was a 15 or a 12 or so, 13-year build. Well, actually, 2002 was the ruthless aggression promo that he put on Kurt Angle. And that's caused him to actually show his ring ability. A lot of people say he has this 5 moves of doom, but hey, he started off in 2002. I believe it was June of 2002, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Him going in a match to SmackDown. Kurt Angle. That was right after that interview, that big moment, the symposium, so to speak, that Vince McMahon had on a Raw. And he's going around and he's starting this ruthless aggression, talking to people in their faces. John Cena quickly picked up on that, and that was the advent of the ruthless aggression area.